But don't forget, guys, you know, now that TI's pushed back to October, that's like 2 months or 3 or whatever. So that's a long period of time. That means we get a bigger patch, right?
I'm so
Or we
down.
get
I'm so
absolutely
ready.
no patch and everyone just goes insane.
Oh no, yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
don't
levels
say
upon
that.
levels.
Why did you have to be so realistic? I was being like blindly optimistic, like when you queue ranked and think you're gonna win. That level of like joy is what I just had for the patch, and you just
dear.
slapped me down with a -30 and brought me back to reality.
Hellbear's really thinking about this pick. They're using almost all of their extra time. It's an important one. I'd be very disappointed if they just pick Winter Wyvern. No, they're going to pick that Abandonment.
There it is.
T, you're so good.
Well, I mean, you did the Mirana last game. I thought we'd go 1 for 1. It's a best of 3.
T, we forgot the brood.
No. Hold
forgot
tight.
the
The spider is. There's 2 picks, all right. You know, we heard from an interview from Kuroki himself, or was it Kuroki, or was it No-Tail? I think it was
Mars.
No-Tail.
Please pick Mars.
Mars is a banger. Yeah, Mars banger. He said that Brood's kind of like a bait pick, where like it's very good, but it's not the cleanest way to win a game because you all in on that hero doing well. Like if the Brood doesn't do well, the game is really disjointed. So if Smashers pick 2 Brood counters now, we shouldn't be like overreacting too much from it. But if Smashers like don't deal with this Brood, then sure, 100% well played, Ghost Rogues. Your draft is disgusting.
Well, I mean, I think if they manage to not deal with this Brood, they're going to pick up the Gyrocopter. That does deal with a Brood somewhat. Is it beginning enough for you, Sheep, for Brood dealing?
It's alright. I feel like, wouldn't a Gyro get overwhelmed by a Brood at level when she hits level 6 in lane? Like, the homing missile's pretty decent at helping catch her and lock her down, but you're laning with an Abaddon who's a relatively weak support, can just be ran down by these spiders. It looks kind of scary. This is assuming that they put her off lane. They could still flex it mid, depending. I don't know if they want to run it as the ledge.
No, I think the Brood's just mid, off lane, sorry. And I think the Gyro, like, you're right in the idea of overwhelming. I think the main thing here is just the levels of Gyro. Like, you can pressure early with, like, 1 point barrage, 1 point rocket, and you kill the Brood. But then you need to have, like, 3 points flak into ult, because if the Brood goes on you, you clear the spiders quickly. You should be fine. It's just, can you get to having that level advantage? Like, the Abaddon has to play sacrificial. And we also saw yesterday in the series where Viking played the Brood, this Leshrac in the safe lane, if he rotates into safe lane at level 6, he can play easily into Brood because he just pops ult, spiders die, you know, life goes on. So maybe Smashers will look to swap the cores in that lane. Like laning phase, Gyro just runs down this Brood without spiders, and then outside of laning phase, Lesh just AFK farms there with the Abaddon, and then Gyro just farms stacks, Ancients, pushes out mid, and then you don't really care about the disparity because you've kind of got 2 answers, laning phase and then post-laning phase.
Sheep, Hellbears have got 35 seconds to make their possible final pick in these TI qualifiers. What do you think it's going to be?
I still want a Mars. Do they just not play Mars, T? Do I just not know?
Rasmus does have a checkered history with the Mars.
Okay.
And that's why we see a Batrider.
I love the phrase checkered history. They had an affair.
Thank you.
You know, it gets very hushed up.
It was love and hate, you know. It started off, he hit a couple spears, the euphoria got to him, and then he missed like 33 spears, and then he stopped playing it.
T, what if this is actually a mid Batrider? Because he knows he's laning against a DK, right? This could be the Rasmus Leshrac. It could be. We feared it.
Oh no. Alright. I'm loading up the donors. I'm finding out if he's played any Leshracs recently. Whoosh. Don't do it, Rasmus. Wait, is he on Pro Tracker? All right, this is important information.
It's a dangerous one. I don't think he has played a lot of Leshrac recently. Not that I've seen.
Misery.
I mean, he's mainly played Centaur and Axe, so I don't know if he's played anything else.
Oh no. Misery's about to go to his final TI qualifying game, or lower bracket, not to get eliminated. Yeah, he's not played any Lesh.
Alright, I'm really hoping this is a Rasmus Leshrac. I'm very excited.
His last Lesh game,
yeah.
I've scrolled through like 20 load more pages. Alright, this is unprecedented. He's pulling a Seb with the Axe at TI finals, you know. I didn't play at all coming into TI finals, but I'm playing the Axe. OD Scream 7 wins. Maybe SUNSfan with his mic, if it works, or internet connection, will get to scream, you know, some Leshrac stuff. I don't know. Big Void.
Rounding out of a Void. How do you feel about this, Sheep? Who are you going to predict going into this game too?
Ooh. I do like the Brood. I wasn't sure about this bat if it's enough control for a Brood, and now you're splitting your control between having to stop this Brood and this Faceless Void. It seems a little bit sus to me, although they don't have much damage for the Chrono either, so...
It's the misery and the Shrek.
Hellbear. Hellbear,
So
I
with
got
that
it.
information, T-Governor, who are you predicting for this game too?
Oh,
I
no,
think
no.
this takes confidence. This takes grit, you know? And I think that alone... No, but okay, jokes aside, I think mid Bat Rider, the hero fell off a little bit, but as soon as you go like bots BKB, and there are no kind of BKB piercing deterrents, sure there's Chrono in this game, but it's not like clean damage with the Chrono right now, so it's a Void that needs to basically farm to have presence. And that alone should give Bat a pretty decent time. So I think, jokes aside with the whole Rasmus Slash thing, I think Bat should have a great game, and I think the Gyrocopter should do pretty well with the Brood early on. And if they swap the Lesh into that lane, should be fine as well. So I think Smashes has a nice draft. If they tighten up their kind of looseness of game one, they have the kind of the recipe to deal with the annoyance of what Ghost Frog have.
Okay, well, can Hellbear Smashers and Rasmus's Leshrac disco dance their way to a game 2 or game 3, sorry, or will Ghost Frogs pull it out of the bag? We're going to hand over to the sanguine sayings of SyndereN and SUNSfan.
That's a word, SyndereN. I think
Sanguine.
I've heard it once or twice before. I have literally no idea what it means, but
It's a type of pasta, right? Sanguini?
I don't think that's what he means by that, but we can, I guess, take that as a compliment either way. So yeah, this is game. I do too, as you can tell by my amazing complexion. Game 2 of this best of 3. Ghost Frogs are up 1-0 Cinderman. They looked pretty good in that game from what I heard from you.
Yep.
I mean, I left, I got disconnected, and then they were up 15K. So quite the game indeed. But what do you think of these lineups this time around?
I was gonna say, I think what Ghost Frogs should do here is that they should just do musical chairs until they get Void against the Batrider, but it looks like they're just gonna double down on putting Dragon Knight mid, committing. He started Magic 1 Quelling Blade. This is a build you only go on Dragon Knight against the Bat. It's a hard lane matchup for him. I think in this game you could have put a Void mid and a Dragon Knight safe lane and probably done fine in both lanes, so... from my perspective, this is a big opportunity for Borneo to really take over this game. It is a good Batrider game if he has a hot start. And with this like laning that it seems like Ghost Frogs are going for, I think I'm siding with the Smashers here. As I see Batrider being able to run this over. With other lanes, I'm not so sure, but...
Oh, Rasmus is playing Leshrac, which our panel was not happy about. Well, they were happy about it for the wrong reasons, I think. We have... apparently no data on him playing. I mean, he's played this as a support back in the DC days. I know that for a fact, but as a position 3, what are your thoughts on Lesh right now? Because this is a hero that's been kind of all over the place.
Leshrac. This hero is so fun. There's no way you haven't played Leshrac.
I haven't.
It's fun. That's why you haven't played it. You like playing Centaur every game.
I like heroes that have good animations.
You have pretty good taste, actually. I'll admit it. You have pretty good taste in heroes.
Thank you, Cinder. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I have disconnected from Dota now. But keep going. You're doing great.
That is very unfortunate. First Blood! I'm not trolling you. There was actually First Blood. Tofu and Ace killing off Milan. Actually really surprising here. Just running at him with Curse of Avernus as well as the homing missile. And Murano with that level 1 arrow just can't escape. And guess what? Brood level 1 is pretty garbage and doesn't help. But that's a good turnaround kill with the arrow.
I'm watching it live now, Cinder. Things are great. It's going to be tied.
Great.
It would have been a great troll by you. As Ace is getting chased. Yeah, Toby's there with that Brood Mother.
Chase without Ace.
And he's going to drop as well. So a double kill from Milan to start the game.
Dude, he set that all up. He died on purpose. He knew. I'm going to come back and get 2 in return.
I guess so. We didn't really talk. The Marana obviously picked in the game 1 as well, but you can see a lot more setup this time around for the arrow. You got, obviously, Dragon Tail is going to be the main one, but obviously Chronosphere at some point. They don't have a ton of Chronosphere damage per se. As bot lane, you're going to see an Impale onto 2 heroes, but the counter... Split Earth from Rasmus is there to counteract. But yeah, talk to me about this Brood, SyndereN, since Toby is playing it this time around in the off lane. We've talked ad nauseum about him at the major, but has anything changed?
Not very much. I think the teams are starting to get a little bit of a better understanding about how to deal with the hero. But like for the most part in this patch, I still think Brood is going to be a really big annoyance when it gets picked late in the draft like this. But so far, Hellbear Smashers with their lanes, I think they're going to be able to stand their ground a bit. The double kill on Milan is of course concerning, but I think T had a really good point in what they could do on Smashers, is that they have Gyro up here until Brood is 6, and then they put Lesh up there. Gyro transitions into jungle, and the Batrider has a lot of mobility and freedom in this game because he has a good laning matchup. Which, by the way, is currently being won by Dragon Knight, so I might have to eat my words later if it turns out that Dragon Knight just does fine here. Obviously, sometimes my knowledge of matchups will be a little bit outdated. Batrider used to destroy Dragon Knight at least half a year ago, but nowadays maybe you can just hold your ground with the right item build, and with water runes and everything, maybe you're okay. And the nerfed bat.
I mean, mid lane is the no skill lane, so I've heard, right? We've talked about this before. The great Arteezy once said that as top lane. Toby, almost the silence coming about from the Curse of Avernus, but the move speed from these webs is just enough to get him out of range. But what are your thoughts on Gyrocopter this game? Because we've seen it a lot with Io. That's when it feels like he's at his best, but now you have, it's not really a semi-carry of any kind. I mean, the Lesh is the off lane, and then, I mean, obviously, Batrider is really good, but I wouldn't call him a semi-carry by any stretch.
I think they kind of picked it by necessity. They wanted a carry that could handle Brood. So I don't think they picked it because they were like, okay, this is the best carry in the game. They picked it because, okay, we need to do a bit of damage control. They have some decent setups for Gyro. Gyro likes playing with initiators that pull heroes towards him, right? So Batrider is great, Vengeful Spirit. Nyx isn't half bad. He has a lot of lockdown, so you have time to connect with your barrage and your ult. So I'd say just from an isolation perspective, looking at their lineup, Gyro has a lot of the things he wants in a team. He even has a defensive support backing him up if he gets jumped by the Void. So I could definitely see it working here. There's been many worse Gyro games recently than this one. So
I'm sure there have. People keep picking him a lot as well, but we're going to see
finally happens.
The DK, yep, in the mid lane, finally. It did take a
no
level
lasso
6,
even.
But no lasso, yeah. Plenty of stacks, so that's 2 levels of Firefly right now for Mr. Bornea. But from the Brood's perspective, again, we talked about this bit at the major, but it's not all about killing the spiders anymore, but it's all about, it's a mixture of that and just the overall catch. Do you think they have enough to deal with Toby? I mean, Homing Missile, obviously a very good spell against this spider.
That is great against Brood. It's a BKB piercing catch that pulls him out of position. Brood plays a lot around high grounds and terrain walking, and Batrider can match you, which is very rare. There's very few heroes that can do this, so I would say that is a really good pick for that problem. So yeah, I think so. I genuinely just look at these lineups and I see Hellbear Smashers having solutions, but I don't favor them by a lot. I just think with the laning setup that they got, they're in a good enough spot that this game should definitely be a bit in their favor, but it doesn't take much before it swings, right? There's a lot of strong teamfight and a lot of catch and damage on the Radiant side as well. But with Brood being shut down this hard, that is concerning for the Frogs.
Yep, and looking at the CS, I mean, obviously the kill going Bornea's way, he does get arrowed for now, so the rune's going to be taking MPD. Takes the haste rune in turn, but this is a 2-level disadvantage right now. Yeah. But he does have good CS, you know, 35 and 9, so he's definitely ahead of the Batrider in that regard. So not the worst case scenario for the DK. I mean, again, any melee hero against Batrider is going to struggle to some degree without any help.
Except Void and Slark and PL.
Sure.
And Darkseer. And Brood. Nah, Brood struggles.
Darkseer is barely a melee hero. MPD, all right, gets the Dragon Tail off as
Bora
Bornea
with
pops
a
up
deep dive.
Firefly. Yep, the lasso is there. Arrow! Oop! Gonna be sidestep, but it might not matter. Bornea has so many stacks, and he's just gonna walk away in that Firefly. Milan takes heavy damage just for being in the area. So another solo kill for Bornea. You talked about this Batrider prowess, and he's proving you right.
Oh, Milan,
congratulations.
Great kill. Taking advantage of that ward he had close to the mid tier 1 tower, seeing the movement trajectory of Bornea. That's such a huge kill. He's got a full level. Are you disconnected?
I am not. I'm just readjusting things. All is good. All is well, good sir. As we
Wonderful.
see J4 take a tumble here, but in the mid lane, MTD pops the dragon form, and we'll be applying some pressure to this tier 1 tower. They're waiting for the respawn from Bornea. He's going to TP. You can see some reinforcements on the way in the form of Gilger. And with that fortification, MTD is just going to back up. How important? Like,
Everything
how
very
fast
much
do you
going
want
according
to
to
take?
plan for smashes, though.
How fast do you want to take tier 1 tower mid with Dragon? Like, what is considered a failure, let's say? Like, what's your threshold?
I don't know if you can simplify it that much, but I would say usually you want it before 15 at least. Like, beyond that, it's bad. A lot of the times sometimes it's bad if it's not gone by 12. Like, it just really depends how your lane goes, what heroes you have, what the enemy team defends with. I think in this game, I wouldn't even necessarily consider it a failure if he doesn't get it before 15, because I just think it's going to be hard. Like, he's playing against a Batrider who had a great start. There's the threat of the Nyx catching him with Vendetta when he pushes. There's just a lot of issues here. And that's part of what's really great about the Smashes draft, is that they've just checked all the boxes that they need to solve the game for now.
Man, he got the glimpse off.
J4.
Yeah, he got the glimpse off originally, and I thought that created enough space, but Rasmus still found a way with that ward there. So Chrysalis will be left alone in lane for now. His CS, I mean, in terms of net worth, just middle of the pack, which against the Gyro, who's top net worth right now. That is actually the most impressive thing. Top net worth in the game is Gyro in this top lane. A lot of spiders, perhaps?
Nope.
Hasn't really killed that many, it looks like, but...
I don't think so. I think maybe like 10 of them are spiderlings. He just has a lot of CS from the lane because it was very easy. Like, Brood Mirana is not a good lane. It just doesn't really offer much. Like, Brood, ideally Mirana wants to play with a 3 that kills with arrow and sets it up, and you know, Brood doesn't do that. And Brood wants to play with a very strong laner so that Brood can get farm, and Mirana isn't a strong laner, so it's kind of a bit disconnected.
Chrysalis getting chased up, but mid lane, Gilger will be taken out. Dragontail was there to set things up, so a nice easy kill there for the Ghost Frogs. Hellbear Smashers did expend a couple TPs to try to defend, but Rasmus, he's kind of just taking control of his bot lane, and that's a Leshrac. Very scary hero to deal with, for sure. By the way, Ace went Chrysalis.
Toby is burning to his slow death.
Man, he's actually so slow without webs.
A great metaphor for deforestation there, breaking the trees as well as the wildlife.
Oh, we're going to see a Chronos through bot lane, so they are dealing with Mr. Leshrac himself. The arrow is there to connect. Nice layering from Milan. Gilger's here, though. He's going to be surrounded, though. J4 has the glimpse. Kinetic field as well. It's going to be set up immediately before that stun took place. Gilger, all he can do is pop the spike carapace, but eventually be taken out.
Mega kill Milan. He's getting rich. That Yules will come relatively quickly. And it's a pretty decent item against Batrider until he gets BKB. Like, just being able to reset, create that gap, or prevent him from pulling people further. That's also something that Batten doesn't deal with too well. Could definitely come in handy here. Just gonna arrow the siege creep. Nicely done. Stopping the mid potential push. I don't know if they're going to be able to use their own siege creep mid, though. Once again, like, the Bornea just posted here. Dragon Knight can't really go and look at this tower very much. But he has managed to take it down to a 3rd HP, which, you know, all things considered, probably not too bad. Like, my main concern for the Radiant is still, how does Brood get into the game with this poor of a start? Like, it is going to happen, but will it be too late when Batrider and Gyro just have the tools already? Like, Ace is getting really farmed. Look at his net worth. It's way ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. He has been in the jungle going absolute ham.
Have you seen this skill build on Gyro before this patch?
Well, you're going to have to hold your horses, Cinder, because Leshrac just got deleted from the map. A TP was coming, but they're going to cancel it. The skill build or the item build?
The skill build.
I have, actually. I've seen the max flat cannon.
He has 3 in attribute
we'll talk
bonus.
About that in just a moment. Oh, you're right. I didn't even realize that. That's true. I have not seen that. Okay. Toby will be taken out, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 across the map.
It's just a full-on farming efficiency build. He gets the 1 point in homing missile to win the lane, and then he's doing literally how can I make myself hit creeps as fast as possible build. Damage talent, Crystallis first item, flak cannon maxed, and then attribute bonus over rocket barrage. Very interesting.
Yeah.
He's holding on to one value point now, right? No, he's used all points.
Against the Brood, the rocket barrage is pretty useless, so maybe that had something to do with it. He's just going to be fine farming for the most part.
I think it makes sense. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad build, it's just interesting to see, because to me this is rare, but maybe this is what you do against Brutus Gyro. Mostly Gyros max their spells, though, because they're like genuinely very high impact in fights, right? You have so much damage. Yeah. And rocket barrage kind of... Oh, arrow.
Arrow onto
fine.
Rasmus,
Bornea's hunting.
On the other side. Homing missiles on its way with us.
That's a good
There's a Chronosphere onto 4 heroes. That is a dead Batrider to start things out. The heal's not enough from Tofu, so Gilgar takes a tumble as well. 2 for nothing. Glimpse back. Oh, this would be a huge kill onto Ace. He's going to get his call down, though, and Milan is in quite a bit of trouble. They're going to be able to take out J4 at the very least. And if Ghost Frogs are able to get out, they will be super happy with this exchange. That was an enormous chrono. Holy crap.
Yeah, perfect. I think they actually used they panicked a little bit and used Static Storm Kinetic Field a bit too early, so the layering wasn't perfect. Maybe they could have even got a 3rd kill there. But, you know, that's the glass half empty way of thinking about that play. They got a 4-man chrono. Probably celebrate that in the 2 kills you got, especially the Batrider. And the fact that Toby didn't connect at all. So finally the Brood got a little bit of breathing room. He got a full minute on his own to take half a top tower, as well as find some good farm. Tofu mid, being forced to use the borrowed time.
Yeah, they're trying to chase Toby here. He's in the Moonlight Shadow on this Broodmother. Gilgar, of course, pursuing with that Vendetta, and doesn't have vision anymore.
Dude, Ace is so farmed. What the hell?
You the Gyrocopter?
He's 3k ahead of Void minute 14. I mean, I know Gyro
it's only gonna
better, but...
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse once the Ags is picked up, which is
200
now.
CS, almost. Obviously some are spiders, but probably quite a lot of them are spiders. But yeah, he has Crystallis Ags, minute 14. This is nuts. He's going to be a really big problem for them to deal with, because, yeah, you can chrono him. Do you have the single target damage in the Radiant lineup? We haven't talked about that too much. Like, how do you kill one big hero with this Radiant team? You have some control, you have arrow, that's going to get shielded off. I actually don't think you can kill Ace, really. What are you going to do it with?
If you get consistent 4-man chronos and you get some damage on top of that with Void, maybe Cinder, maybe. Oh, Rasmus is going to be disconnected there thanks to the Dragon Tail. Oh, MTD is on the cliff, the Arteezy special. Oh, that is unfortunate.
Oh, another metaphor of deforestation. The dragons have to go back to living on the hills instead of in the forests where they thrive. It's so sad.
The dragons.
Yeah, dragons are real, Shannon. They live in the forest.
That is,
you don't go out
that
much.
Lore I was unaware of, but thank you for informing me. J4 getting chased by Gilgar.
Real.
Impale. Well, lore can be real.
That's like, actually true.
Your lore is being a robot, so it has nothing to do with it being a fantasy.
Nyx is dead.
Gilgar, glimpse back, Starstorm, and eventually, I would assume, gets brought down. It's going to take a little bit extra. But
I calculated all the outcomes, and all of them led to demise.
All of them, really?
Yes.
I feel like that's not true, because disconnection in general would at least be 0.0001% of those times.
In all of the disconnection cases, they would have paused the game, reconnected, killed.
Okay. You just thought of everything, young man. Good job. Yeah, Ace is 10k net worth at 16 minutes. That is unbelievable.
Ace is indeed.
Possess Mac as well. So he gets the double attack with the... Oh, there's the Crystallis with that Chronosphere. This will be a huge kill. He doesn't have anybody even near him. And this is going to be a dead Gyrocopter. We're talking about how farmed he is, and the caster curse is real, SyndereN.
That's how they do it. They find him 4-on-1 with all their stuff, and then they kill him in 10 seconds. But if he has any protection there, I actually think he lives if Abaddon is next to him and nobody else. I do think there was a way out of that. So it's an awesome kill for Ghost Frogs, but at the same time, it's a bit concerning. Like, when you see that, right? It really highlights the problem that they're going to be facing once Smashers are together. But, again, for Ghost Frogs, celebrate that big kill you just got. closing the gap a little bit. He's still 4k ahead of Void.
At some point, Chrysalis does get...
Yeah, if Chrysalis gets farmed enough, sure, then he can have some damage. But Void is notorious for having really bad damage for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you buy Mask of Madness to kind of come at it. Oh, Lasso. Milan's dead.
Yeah, Lasso into Split Earth, and down goes Milan. No, you're right. I mean, it's kind of a slow upward trend for Void players out there. I mean, that's the cool thing about Void is he's not useless in lane anymore thanks to time dilation, but he still takes a long time to get like truly online. So we're gonna see the Roshan attempt now.
It's one of the really strong carries at isolating and killing targets later in the game on his own when he's really farmed. But it's like if you were to draw his like power curve for when he is really strong, it's almost like he's in some matchups he's really strong in lane, and then his damage is just so negligible for quite a while, and then with 2 or 3 items suddenly it's like this huge spike in output. Like Maelstrom is a huge upgrade. Now he's going to farm a lot faster with that and Mask of Madness to work toward his next item. But if that's a BKB, once again, that damage is far away. Aegis is sitting in the inventory of Gyro, who is now 2k from Satanic.
Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll actually backpack the, or get rid of the Possessed Mask because he found an Imp Claw. So even more damage for Mr. Ace. And, I mean, at what point do you think Void can kill him in a chrono? Just by himself. Like, how many minutes do you need?
That Void can solo Gyro?
Yeah, I mean, he's going for BKB. That's not going to help. And then it looks like S and Y after that's not enough still.
I don't think Void can solo Gyro this game without at least Daedalus or Rapier. So, minute 35. Earliest, absolutely earliest possible, and that's where Crystallis somehow gets an amazing game now and Gyro doesn't. If they both keep the trajectory of the game right now, I don't think Void solos him the whole game. Probably. Like, unless we get tier 5 items or something ridiculous, right? Like, we get that deep, but Gyro with this huge of a lead over Void is not going to be solo killable ever. He's way too tanky, especially with the stats build. Like, look at it. He still hasn't skilled Rocket Barrage. He's actually just full on... He even prioritized... Wait, has he skilled yet on level 15? If he seriously takes 1 point attribute bonus over 40-second cooldown...
To me, I don't know if this is accurate. It shows that he's taken all the attributes already that he can, right?
It's maxed out. So let's see. So he has 2, 6, 7... Yeah, he took it over the talent. He has spent all his points. He just does... He's like, I'll take attribute whenever I can. So that's 14 all stats extra. So it's an ultimate orb and a half.
He's a tanky boy indeed. I mean, okay, so from Ghost Frog's perspective, what do they need to do to win? Obviously, Broodmother needs to split push to some degree and be a nuisance on the map. And, I mean, the Chronos need to be on point, but they don't have damage, really, in the Chronos. You have the arrow set up, they have the control. I mean, does MTD need to go more damage after this BKB?
Yes,
does he need to play like the semi-carry role?
Absolutely. I think it goes AC after BKB. Or something like that. Like they need more damage. I think Mirana could even consider as well going a magic damage build here with like Ag's E-Blade. Is currently eyeing the dagger. But that really is my biggest problem with the Radiant lineup is, okay, what do we do if Brood doesn't do well? They're just... It kind of felt like they thought they had them, you know, with this 7th pick Brood. But they really didn't. Like, he lost his lane. This has been one of the lowest impact Broods I've seen in this patch overall in the games. Because we saw the major, like, some games Brood just ran over completely. But like we talked about, teams are getting better at dealing with it. They're adjusting, they've learned the counters, they know how to play the lanes, they know how to play the map. And they just punished this Brood Mirana lane, which is just, in my opinion, just a very, very bad one.
And the Ghost Frogs are in the cover of Moonlight Shadow. It looks like they're trying to set something up for bottom, but there's basically nobody there. And in the meantime, Hellbears are just going to take a tier 2 top. And it looks to be potentially free. Fortification is popped, though. And we have yet to see, actually, how much... the Aegis is still intact, actually, for Ace. And this will be a freebie. And it won't even be a trade of any kind here for Ghost Frogs, it looks like.
He's got Satanic. If he sells his Quelling... he doesn't. He goes and farms. Okay.
More important, of course.
Yeah, it actually is more important. We're close to minute 20, so he wants to clear the camp. His support could have stacked it. That would have been a little bit more efficient, actually. But, you know... Dude, I don't know when the last time I saw Gyro be this farmed without IO was. This is actually crazy. He has not got an Alk that pulled him an Ags, and he does not have an IO. And he has 13,000 net worth minute 20.
Alright, so Ghost Frogs, at the very least, after waiting for a mind-numbing amount of time, do find a kill. But it is only the next assassin.
And a tower.
And they get the tier 1 tower.
It's not too bad.
But again, it's a trade for the tier 2. And Ace was thinking about going potentially high ground. This Aegis probably just be used to take out these tier 2s and then just wait for the next one on top of that.
I'm getting some really good insider info on a message, Shannon, right now. I'm being told the Gyro build is from Sayokalash, who's a Serbian top 90 carry player. And that was probably suggested to Ace by Borania.
I see,
as Toby
very
is
interesting.
Probably dying. Toby's not dying.
Yeah, well, he makes it to high ground. He's perfectly fine. Syndere, good attempt, though. The glimpse, Ace is away. And the only way he's going to deal with that is get a BKB.
I'm tripping.
Chrono was not used, in fact.
I know exactly why I said it, but I'm not going to tell you. All right.
Okay.
But that's interesting. Like, so this is one of those things that makes Dota so cool, is that one specific player can come up with a cool creative idea, and then you suddenly see it implemented in pro play because others get inspired. Like, in theory, this Gyro build has been in the game since attribute bonus came back, right? But it's not intuitive that you would do this. So. And who knows if the guy we're crediting it with is actually the source of inspiration, but it would make sense if a top 90 carry player could have inspired Bornia to tell Ace about it.
I mean, how much slower would his build have been if he did not go stats? That's the question I have.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. Like, how much did this give him? It probably isn't insignificant.
No, I mean, it does seem pretty cool. They're gonna take a tier 3 basically for free, and Aegis
Ghost Frogs gonna do anything?
Doesn't look like it. MTD is in dragon form though. Blink Dagger's canceled thanks to the side gunner. Okay, looks like the backdoor protection does kick in. Arrow not going to be able to connect though. Flat Cannon clearing the creeps, and you can see that the cutting from Toby is there, so they actually cannot go for the racks anymore. So nicely done. That's the most we've seen from the Brood this game. It is pretty significant though. Hold on a little bit longer.
He does stall it out. I'm looking for that timing for Ghost Frogs where things just come together. The BKB from Void is 1k away. Dragon Knight has his that they haven't used. Aghanims and Disruptor is miles away. There's no damage item in sight. So again, I think the problem remains really similar, and you need to get creative here. I think you need to think outside the box, like try to find, okay, we're not going to fight the Gyro head on because that's not going to work. So we're going to be able to do some sort of split where we set up a 5v4, or are we going to find someone else in the Gyro? I think this is just doom if they go in here.
Crystallis, the Chrono, it's only going to be on one. It's Rasmus. Let's see if they can find the kill before the Chrono is ended. Into the Static Storm Kinetic Field combination, but their Yules is going to keep him alive even longer. But Bad Rider's completely surrounded in the meantime. Ace trying to do as much as he can to create the space for his team. In the meantime, Lasso finally expended. It is onto MTD, and that's basically the first significant kill of this fight. Nyx Assassin will be the trade for now, though. Nice Kinetic Field, keeping them in place. And I think that's enough space for Crystallis to at the very least get out. But again, the Chronosphere was used, and they didn't really get any big kills. Rasmus somehow lives after all of that.
So, they actually did so many things right, and it still wasn't enough. They got a Chrono into 2-man Static Storm, 0 kills, and then they got a 5-second arrow on the Batrider, and he didn't die either, and then he got BKB off. So the Abaddon had cooldown on a Aphotic Shield from using it on the Leshrac in the Chrono, so Borania was exposed for a while to that arrow, and they just still didn't have the damage, man. Like, that's the problem when your lineup is like this, is that in order to kill cores, it's not enough that you combine core plus support, or 2 cores, or even 2 cores plus support. You still don't kill. So you need to overwhelmingly pile onto one target, and you're playing against Abaddon, and you have to do that. That is usually going to be rough, right? So this Chrono was pretty good, but they need to connect everyone in it. They need to get Dragon Knight to kill the Lesh. They need to get Mirana to kill the Lesh. Bats going in.
Yeah, Ace.
Oh, he let the missile connect.
Hey,
that's gonna hurt.
He actually used Rocket Barrage level 2 at 24.5 minutes. But it's really the auto attack that's doing most of the damage here, Cinder Man. And the fortification finally popped. I mean, the fact that he has not had to go for BKB just shows you how freaking farmed he is. Going for Butterfly next, basically relying on Tofu to get off those aphotic shields if he even gets in trouble. Which, at this stage, with this much lifesteal, it'd be difficult to take him out even without Abaddon.
He's just daring them. He doesn't even have Aegis. Like, come at me, you know? That's
Yeah,
one lane.
They know how strong he is right now. So this is going to be finally the first racks here for Hellbear Smashers.
Nice deny from Milan. That's a real morale booster there.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, you can use that going to the next game at the very least.
Gilger's found Chrysalis.
Maybe you'll get
He's
the
not getting out of
MVP
this.
post-game for the deny of your own racks. Chrysalis now on the run. Impale does connect, and Borania with the lasso. That's going to be a very, very easy cleanup. And again, a very significant kill. This is their potential late game from Ghost Frogs, but he is, if you look at the net worth, he, in terms of the cores, literally the bottom. Definitely struggle city for him. And Roshan is not going to be up for another minute and a half, but I feel like Hellbear Smashers don't really have to wait considering how farmed Ace is
Gets
right
the
now.
Yule.
Yep, Yule into
Bonus
split
kill.
earth. Alright, so a nice turnaround kill. Hellbear Smashers just doing everything they want. They have control of the map. They have control of absolutely everything. They even have an Aghanim Scepter now on Gilger, so if it wasn't hard enough to kill at least one hero in these fights, it's going to feel basically impossible once he's pro.
Milan missed the cut on mid-wave. And the next mid-wave is also in the base, so this is not happening whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's 2 lanes. You just can't fight. Your lineup can't fight.
Yeah, that is the
I
second
think Smashers
melee
are paying
ranks.
them a lot of respect here. But, like, obviously they don't have access to all the information like we do with the gold lead and the net worth distribution or whatever. They have to be feeling invincible almost at this point. So they're playing very safe. Obviously a huge and very important game for them to get back in the series and have a chance of still going to TI. So they'll wait for next Roche. 20 seconds respawn.
I mean, I can't blame them.
No, it's
like
fine.
you said,
it's
this
completely
is
fine.
for TI. If you were the team to lose this game when you're up this much, that is something you will never live down. You know, this is a pretty monumental lead. But Ace, Tofu is in the area. He has the aphotic shield. I mean, if they can somehow kill Ace before this Roche taken out.
If he pops Satanic before he gets... Does Sidegunner shoot in Chrono? It does, right?
Yes, definitely.
So if he pops Satanic before he gets Chronoed, I think he survives all 5 heroes.
Yeah.
At this point. When he has the butter, he definitely does. So he just needs to have his finger on Satanic and see the Void, and then he's good to go.
Yep, take some quick fingers. I don't know if you could do that, Cinder, at your old age. I definitely can't.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe in my heyday.
Uber boomer.
Yeah. Alright, we have the Moonlight Shadow. This could be the potential last fight of the game that will extend to a Game 3 in all likelihood. Ace, very safe though. Tofu, not the hero you want to find. Although Roche is up, this will take a bit of effort, SyndereN, to get this. But they're going to try.
Ghost Frogs showcasing their insane single target damage here.
Yeah, oh boy. Tofu, yep, showing himself, and this is exactly the hero if you are Hellbear Smashers to get this info. And now Ace has come in. There's the lasso onto the Void, and it looks to be his doom in all likelihood. Nope, gets the Chronosphere off with the BKB onto 4 heroes. Do they have the damage to kill anybody? Borania getting bashed. There's the Time Walk. In addition, finally gets the kill. That is a big one. No buyback for him. Let's see if they can get anything else. But now the double stun on top of the Void. So it's still just a trade. It's the best you could ask for if you're the Ghost Frogs. And now Ace just inside the pit. Still waiting on his courier, by the way, to deliver his freaking butterfly. I'm sure that's annoying, but is not feeling any worse for wear.
Gilger.
Yep, J4.
He's gonna kill J4 here.
Trying to delay this as much as he can, and he's doing a pretty good job at that, actually. Still 20 seconds left for the Void. He's not going to have Chronosphere, though. In the end, finally taken out. Roche at half HP. This, of course, is the second Roche, so Shard is available. Shard will not go on Ace. He doesn't even level freaking Rocket Barrage. If he takes
so that
it,
was a godly...
Yeah.
Probably Bad Rider. It's a great Shard.
Yeah, agreed.
Double charge Flame Break is crazy good.
Alright, Ace now has his butterfly, so... And pretty close to finishing Daedalus now.
You can take it on Lesh, too, for sieging. Just protect your gyro when he hits high ground. Just put a stun on top of him.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Milan. Oh! The mid leap into Yules, into the split earth, and Ace is able to get the Aegis, the Shard, and Cheese on Gilgir. And they find the kill on Milan to boot. So this will likely set up the final push of the game. And just methodical and masterful from Smashers overall. Ace is... I mean, you got to give his teammates credit, but it does feel like he is just literally unkillable. And you said this relatively early on as well. Toby will be shown here. You see the double flame break being used thanks to that shard pickup, but Tofu has to pop the borrowed time for now. There's the last on Milan. This will be a dieback, and Split Earth comes out, not able to connect, though. Big double impale, though. That's going to hit 2 heroes. Chrysalis trying to get out with that BKB, attempting to kill off the Leshrac in the meantime. Looks like he might find it, but again, Rasmus with the Yules. You can see Gilgir on the sideline in the burrowed form. They can't do anything about him, creating so much space. 4v5. And now the Smashers look to get Megas. Looking very grim indeed for the Ghost Frogs.
This game has
the mana burns come out.
It's just had this aura of ease for the Smashers. It's just been watching this. It's looked like they have not had trouble at all. Like they've been fighting against possibly the best possible Chronos that Ghost Frogs could find, and it just hasn't been enough. Here's another great one.
Ooh. Didn't connect on the gyrocopter. Let's see if they have enough damage to actually get anybody. Gilgir, he just pops inside his freaking burrow, and he's going to be super safe. In the meanwhile, Ace is just decimating everybody on the sidelines, chasing out MTD. Tries to blink out. They're going to probably call GG and see if he can get out in time, Synder. And this is the big hype moment. Homing missile does connect. Nobody's actually going after him. Very sad indeed as the GGs come out. So this will go to a game 3.
Yeah, total beatdown. I think they solved the game super well. The way they played the safe lane, the fact that they got the Batrider against DK matchup, where in the start MTD actually did pretty well, but the 2 solo kills that Batrider found mid just... yeah, it just made his game too easy. Like the Bat just ended up running away with this early mid game, and then the gyro transitioned into becoming the easily most farmed hero in the game, not even remotely close. And I think for Ghost Frogs, I think they wanted to be cute with this Brood, but I don't think they really took advantage of what the hero wants to play around in their draft. Like I really think damage is an issue. And perhaps they had different plans. Like maybe the idea was, okay, Brood is going to do better in lane and actually buy damage so he can kill heroes. But I really felt like this last pick Void was just not it. They just couldn't kill them. They needed more punch.
Yeah, well, that's the end of game 2, SyndereN. I would classify that as a mega shellacking for those that are wondering.
That was pretty Gaben tier, I think.
I wouldn't put it in Gaben.
Maybe not.
Like, we have to reserve the top of the top for Gaben.
You're right. It wasn't that slumpy.
Either way, it's a shellacking of some kind. Let's take a quick break and see what the panel has to say about game 2.